Hey, Dr. Karen here. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And this week, it's all about the evolution of healers. Well, it's actually not just this week, but this is the week that I get to share a little bit with you what's been going on. So if you've been following me on Facebook or even my Spiritual Medicine Digest videos on YouTube, you'll notice that from time to time, I allude to this, what I call bigger than me healing, meaning that once or twice a day, I'll go in and I'll connect and align with source and ask, uh, who is it that it is for my and other people's highest and greatest good to heal, that I'm allowed to heal right now. Now, of course, there's certain family members, things like that, or people like that, that I don't necessarily get permission to heal. Some have given, some have not. Some I haven't asked yet. So there's definitely family members on my list, and of course my godchild as well. However, outside of the immediate family and friends, there are bigger than me healings going on, and I want to share with you, just in case you as a sensitive soul are called to do something similar. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm sacrificing my energy or using too much of my energy or anything like that, because at the end of the day, I am not physically doing the work. Okay, like spirit is doing the work, the God team, if you will, is doing the work. So those wonderful light beings and ascended masters and angels, they're kind of doing the work. Our job as humans and as highly sensitive souls is really to be able to discern, first of all, what is for the highest and greatest good for us to heal, and whether it's for our highest and greatest good too. Because sometimes I don't get to heal certain things that other people, it's their role to heal. So aside from discerning, it's also kind of like being in our inner wisdom space, in that being vibration, that stillness. So that's also our job as well, because when we're there, we resonate joy, peace, love, and that creates a beautiful light radius that then heals the world even virtually, which is super cool. And number three, really being personally responsible for our own lives and self-care. You're in this body, in this timeline, and so we have to, or choose to, take care of this body and this timeline. You know what I mean? So it's not like we can just go ahead and abuse ourselves, whether it be emotionally or physically, all the time and expect things to be peachy keen, right? So we have to take that self responsibility. So I feel that if for you, if you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed already, I can't even think about, healing outside of myself, then that is okay. Focus on you, focus on your stillness, focus on your own self-care and your own self-responsibility, because that, at the end of the day, is going to help us so much more than you sacrificing yourself, thinking that you have to do your bigger mission, you have to heal this or that in the infinity verse of the world or Mother Earth and nature, whatever it is, and then you yourself feel drained or exhausted or whatever, right? So lately for me, I've been asking about who and what I can heal outside of myself, outside of my alternate timelines, outside of my soul destiny partners, those that I have a contract with, and this or other timelines to help. And yeah, the answers have been very interesting. So I've been guided to heal certain countries, certain days, something that Spirit helped me with the wording, called Pyramids of Power, the people, places, and things involved with that, and multiple timelines, which I thought was interesting. Sometimes we're healing for all of mass consciousness, all of humanity, which has been pretty much daily. And sometimes for our starseed friends, different cultures, light being starseeds, of which I am one. One of my souls is light being starseed, so sometimes helping the whole collective that way. And most recently, which is the topic of today, is healers. Now, I'm not just talking about your Reiki healers or your light medicine healers, that kind of thing. I'm talking about people in the role, especially professional role, of healing or helping others to heal. So we're talking about nurses and doctors and chiropractors and acupuncturists and naturopaths and homeopaths and yogis, if you will, yoga practitioners, those in the coaching, mentoring field. So we're just kind of lumping that as healers. And very interestingly, it's almost like there is a body within itself of this label we're calling healers, and there are certain patterns that have perpetuated in our past that are no longer necessary or for the highest and greatest good. So these are some of the patterns that we are extracting out, clearing, and even downloading positive, affirmative morphic fields or blueprints to all healers. Now, is it going to do that for every single healer on the planet or even in the universe? Not necessarily. If it's not for the highest and greatest good, this healing does not happen. However, as a body of healers, there are certain patterns that we can, with Topican healing, kind of, pick out and cancel out. And there have been several over the months of what has been wanting to heal. Sorry, it's more like weeks, not quite months yet for all of Hilo. So, and here's the thing: as we start to heal, okay, and the healing has started, a long time ago, but a lot of the stuff coming through and being more transparent lately. If you've read Penny Pierce's book, I love her books. There's one called Transparency. It's about really revealing stuff that has been hidden. And a lot of this is revealing sometimes not so great stuff. And in particular, healers are people in a place of authority that people trust them, to have them help. And so some of this that I'm going to show you now may be a little shocking if this is news or new to you. So just, feel a little bit discernment whether or not you want to continue listening to this. But I just wanted to show you some examples in our world, in our everyday life, that is things that are coming to light. Now, if you are a news person or been on Facebook, you may have heard of some of the sex scandals among, Hollywood and those kinds of things, and sex trafficking rings and things like that coming to light. And I know some of my friends who are big, Donald Trump fans will say, yeah, that's exactly what Donald has, been doing behind the scenes, is exposing these and getting arrests and that kind of thing, which I think is pretty kind of cool, because I never heard about it until they told me. And so whether or not you love Donald Trump, that's not what this is about, but it's about the transparency, the revealing of things that have been hidden that now can heal. So I'm going to show you a few things here. Now, years ago, several of my friends went to the Omega Institute to see this man, John of God. And, one of my friends, she said to me, wow, you know what he does? People, there are thousands of people flock to him, and he'll, tell them to cut out a piece of them to heal this other thing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, yeah. Like, he might ask somebody to like cut off their fifth finger so they can heal their cancer. And you know what? They'll be healed. I'm like, well, that's what you call a faith healer, because you have faith that this is really going to work, and you better darn work because you don't have a finger anymore. So that's just a kind of an example. And other times it's very, kind of nonchalant, kind of advice, like, oh, take hibiscus tea for your blood pressure, whatever, that kind of thing. So the funny thing is that she asked me about it, like whether I wanted to go or whether I wanted to go see him. And I was just like, nah, like I didn't think necessarily bad. I was just like, I'm just not resonating with that. I felt like there was a way in which people could heal that did not have to be so violent against their bodies. That was my personal opinion, okay? But I did not know all this other stuff behind the scenes. So the sex slave farms and things like that, hundreds of women coming forward, excuse the ringing, of accusing him of this sex slavery kind of thing. So that was really shocking to me, and at the same time, it reinforced or validated, what Spirit's telling us is that transparency is coming. That transparency is coming. This is healing. This is healing. So, another example in the news would be Bikram Yoga. So Bikram Yoga is hot yoga. And it was very, very strict. I didn't know a lot about it. I did read about it a little bit, and there was even, hot yoga that started up in my community, and people were like, oh, you gotta go, and I was like, felt into it, and I just felt like, not that the yoga was bad or anything like that, I just felt like it was very masculine and almost military to me when I felt into it. And I thought, you know what, I'm already too masculine when it comes to like business and all that kind of stuff. I need to get into my feminine. So if anything, I need yin yoga, or I need dance or burlesque or something, that's more feminine, right? So I don't want to be like militarized into, you have to do these yoga poses, you have to do this, and you can't drink water during it, or whatever was the, what I heard. So, and it wasn't so much what people told me, because some people absolutely loved it, right? They got a lot out of it. And I'm like, yay for you, right? But, when we found out recently that another, yogi trusted person, it's not so much that they make tons of money. Okay. That's not what I'm really concerned about, but it's that betrayal of trust that is a major problem. And so even though he's not a healer per se, he's in that sphere of mentor, coach, that kind of energy. So yeah, so he is now part of a Netflix documentary. And there's been, again, lots and lots of women coming forth talking about being raped and all sorts of unpleasant things, sexual abuse and other types of abuse, right? So so this is extremely scandalous in the yoga field, especially since yogis pride themselves as being very spiritual people. So how is it that their leader, which they were completely blindsided, was doing this behind the scenes and they didn't even know, right? And then there was Kundalini Yoga, which I did do and I really liked as well. And my teacher was really funny and I really liked her, and we were doing this. And I won't say who it is, but she, one day she says to me, because I got a Yogi Bhajan's books, right? And because I was really inspired by, what she was teaching us. And I thought, well, this is very masculine as well. Like it's almost like a big workout, and it's pretty tough. And there were some negative things that people had said about it, but I figured, if you're grounded, I mean, it really made you feel good afterwards. So I really liked it. But you know what? I bought these books and I didn't crack them open. I was like, what is my problem? What is it? And I know what it is now, because I went to a workshop. Again, I'm not going to name names because it's not about them, but went to a workshop, and the male leader of the workshop said some really like emotionally charged things about sexuality and women and whatever. And I was like, whoa, okay, hang on a second. You are the one with the problem here with the sexuality. So it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And then, this yoga teacher that I really liked, a local yoga teacher, came up to me and she says, honestly, I don't think Yogi Bhajan's very healthy. She said that kind of as an aside, because she had met him and trained with him and that kind of thing. And then come to find out that, his person that was like his secretary, right hand person, now has this book out about her life with him, and there was lots of sexual abuse and rape and all that kind of stuff again. So here it is, someone we trust, someone who's high profile, someone who many followers throughout the world just completely probably feel betrayed, finding out what was really going on behind the scenes. And I mean, if someone was judgmental, they'd be like, well, how could these women just like put up with it? But you know what? It's like stars in your eyes. Like, it's like, oh my God, he's amazing. And it's more common than we think it is. And just look at today. Just look at, we cannot judge, these other women or whoever was abused, because look at us today. Look at how we are so totally bamboozled by whatever we see on the news, whatever is shown by, whatever, and how quickly we believe the narrative and things happening, not knowing what's really going behind the scenes. So who are we to judge anyone else? You know what I mean? But people in a place of power, and especially healers, this is a very sacred calling. And when we have these things that happen behind the scenes, unfortunately more common than we'd like to do, we need to be able to be grown-ups and go, okay, this is happening. It's been happening for a really, really long time. And it's got to stop. It is not, aligned with sources, not aligned with light. It's been manipulated into that. And this is happening in all different arenas, not just for healers. But it doesn't surprise me that there are these global patterns and old energies that is absolutely necessary for healers to clear. The grand majority of healers that I know are aligned with the light, or really have that intention to align with the light. They're not, trying to betray people or, get money or sex or whatever out of them when it's a manipulation and things aren't really true and there's not really love there, that kind of thing. Like I said, I don't have problems with people making big money, making big change for people, but I do have a problem personally with them betraying the trust in order to get that money or sex trafficking or selling their children off, whatever it is, right? So these things are really hard to hear. It was really hard for me to hear, especially as, a light being earth angel soul, because for me, I just couldn't imagine ever being in that space, and to understand that that actually happens in our world is very, very painful. So that healing that I'm doing twice a day, excuse the ringing. I'm trying a new way of recording here. So is necessary, for us to really clear and clean and let's be grown-ups. Let's say, hey, it happens. It's happening. There may be more that we'll find out, and let's bring as much love that we can to this situation, right? So that all those people that have been hurt or traumatized will not have had their experience, not worth something. Like that they are there to help us move to the next stage. So please send them love as well. Send them as much love and angels as you can, because they were hurt. So anyway, I got a little distracted there with all the ringing on my phone, which never rings usually. Anyway, all right, so let me give you some tips as far as discernment. Here's the thing, it is very easy for most people to get wrapped up in something that is a lie. Why is that? Because we're not fully here. We're not fully conscious all the time. And I haven't met a single human who's fully conscious all the time. I don't care how many millions of dollars they have, or how many times they're on TV, or how many books or best-selling books they have, right? So, and I'm the first to admit, I am not 100% conscious all the time. However, I am in that place where I keep remembering to be conscious, remembering. And for me, the easiest way is to go into that place of stillness. And the easiest way for me to go into the place of stillness, because I'm so clairsentient and feel so much, is go into my body and feel what is going on in my body. So vibrations in my body, I call it stillness through observing internal movement. And there's a free class that you can get to learn this. You don't have to do it my way, but there needs to be a doorway to that stillness, because in that place we are full of ourselves, and in that place is the best place to discern, right? So one of the ways you can do is you go into that space, you feel the energy, and even if you're having a negative emotion, it's really hot in here. Even if you're having a negative emotion, go ahead and still feel the energy of that emotion in your body. A lot of times it just kind of transmutes and just disappears, but you don't want to try to make it disappear. You just want to be here, be fully present while, you're having a reaction of some sort. So here's my husband. He's gonna open the window for me. Thank you, my dear. I'm getting like foggy. Whew. Okay. So yeah, so to discern, you be in your own body, you completely embody. And then one of the ways you can discern, whether it be someone to follow, a book to read, whatever, is you make that intention. You think about whatever it is, or you look at a picture or an article, whatever, and then you feel in your body again. What does it feel like? Usually your body will give you like a yes or a no. Now, a yes sensation, often for most people, will feel like an expansion or an increase in vibration. The vibes go up for me. That's what happens. Or you feel expanded or more peaceful, more joy, or some people even feel more bliss. Okay. For most people, a no feels like a shutdown. Not necessarily bad, although some people say they have some pain, but most of the time it feels just like a quietness. It goes even more quiet. So that's my no. My no, kind of the energy is kind of like here. I'm just giving you a visual, and then it kind of goes quiet, right? So that's my no. And this is actually just a mini, like a mini description of a process I call intuitive impressioning. So that's one of the ways that you can really discern for yourself whether you have a resonance to something or not have a resonance of something. And sometimes we'll be resonating with something in that moment, and then we switch gears because we grow and we evolve. So it's not a big deal whether loved whatever Kundalini Yoga or hot yoga. There's always positive parts of anything, even if it was dark in some way, shape, or form. Like when I went through my dark night of the soul, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it was kind of dark and ugly and yucky, depression, then, but there was such a beautiful transformation of my life, so I can have a contrast of where I was and where I am right now, and how much I do appreciate everything that I learned along the way. So I hope this little mini training on intuitive impressioning is helpful for you. I explain it much more in my upcoming book that's going to be released at some point in the fall, called Sensitivity is Your Superpower. So I literally take the trainings that I do live and in person at events, called the Light Warrior Training Camp, and I put it in a book. So that if you can't visit me live right now, travel is, but anyway, so if you can't visit me live to do the training in person, which I'd love, then at least you have the book, so you know how, to do some of these things, including this intuitive impressioning. The other way you can discern, of course, is through divine muscle testing. So if this is new for you and this is the first video of mine that you have that you've watched, divine muscle testing is a way of using your body. The easiest one is swaying forward, yes, and swaying back is a no. What happens is that you go into stillness, you ask the question, and then your body will react when you're standing up. And there's different ways of doing it. I do it through, my hands. There's all these different ways of doing it, and that's a completely different training. But it's a really fun and easy, and for me, very fast way to discern decisions and to, figure some things out. So that's my tip for this week, is discernment, and about how you can do that. And if you're thinking about hiring a healer or being with a healer, and hopefully I haven't scared you off of that, from what I've revealed today, just go within and ask, and just let source and let your high vibrational guides give you some guidance in that stillness. You will receive some guidance. It could be very subtle, so you have to pay attention to what it is. Okay. All right. So a couple of announcements for this week. Number one, I'd love for you to join me on Monday's Light Warrior Radio Show, because I'll be interviewing my empath friend, Joshua Bloom. And the topic is The Magic You, Balancing Your World from the Inside Out. And this is a special segment as part of our Sensitive Soul Empowerment segment of Light Warrior Radio. So I'll be interviewing a specific specialists in the area of helping empaths be empowered and thriving in their lives. And Joshua is the second of those that I'm interviewing in the series, the first with Kate Mariah, and now Joshua Bloom. So I hope you can join me at 12 noon Eastern on Monday, and we will put the link near this video, and you can click the link, and you can even call in and and get some information and some mentoring and coaching and some healing. Also, number two, it is the Wisdom of the Ancients Telesummit launching July 13th. And so I'm excited about that, because I've been invited to be a speaker during this telesummit, and I'm going to be talking about how to clear negative entities and energies with ease and grace. And I'll be going live on Tuesday, July 21st at 4 p.m. Eastern. So we're also going to put that link to the telesummit. The telesummit's free to listen to, and so I hope you can be there and ask questions, get many readings, many healings with me. That'll be super, super fun on the 21st, and that's coming up very soon. And by the way, if you're watching this video after Thursday, July 9th, I did a Peace Emerging Protocol. And the Peace Emerging Protocol is a Topican healing protocol to actually amplify your light radius in your community to increase the peace. And we did this for when we had a lot of rioting in various different places. And even though I could personally clear and clean each individual town or place, that's a lot of work for me, right? So in this way, when we do the peace emerging protocol, you become the beacon in your town and community. And as you go through the healing process with me, together with me, this increases your light radius so you can affect more people in your town. And it's amazing some of the results that we got in doing this protocol. Literally, like, overnight riots gone, people praying and singing and, all that kinds of really cool stuff. So there is a replay of that. If you are watching this before 5 p.m. on Thursday, July 9th, it's going to be live, and it's going to be on the Evolutionary Healer Book Pre-Launch Collective. So there is a compilation book that I'm part of launching in September called The Evolutionary Healer. Beautiful cover. Super excited about that. And so we have a group. And in this group, you can join the group for free. And there are going to be twice a week, there are going to be healers doing group activations and healings and readings and all that really, really great stuff. So lots of free stuff before the launch. And then please save the date on your calendar for September 10th for the official book launch, one of my first books for this year in 2020. Woo. All right, so thank you for joining me for this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest. Lots of love to you. Stay warm, stay cool, and stay happy. Enjoy. Bye for now.